I want to go through each of these panelists and just briefly say what your name is, pronouns, and what your role is in this film, and what film you were a part of. So we're gonna start over here.
Hi guys, so I'm Johnny Ricotta. I go by he/him pronouns, and I was the co-director, lead actor, and sound editor for Sign Generative.
Hey guys, thank you guys for being here today. I'm Zian Zheng, and I'm the director, executive producer, and editor of Flying Heart.
Hi. Oh wait, I guess it's me. Wait, you want to go? Yeah. All right. Hi, I'm Callie Hall. I'm the director, producer, editor, one of the actors, and I made the music for Cask of Amontillado.
Hi, I'm Caitlin. I was the DP on Cask of Amontillado.
Hey guys, I'm Al. I am the director and DP for Sunset Hunter, the first film we watched.
Okay, great. Let's get to some questions. I'm going to start real quickly with questions for specific films because I was watching the films and I had specific questions that I wanted to answer to. I'm going to start with John and Jennifer. So you said that, so this is a kind of drama coming of age story. You said that this was a prequel to an album that you and Greg made a few years back, aptly titled Genrift. I was wondering if you could speak a little bit more about the Genrift concept and, because we saw the advert at the end there, and maybe now that the album is 3 years old, if you were to expand on this concept and maybe storyboard a feature length about the Genrift concept itself and maybe continue that story a little bit, how does the Genrift rhyme work out for the two?
Yeah, so the story, basically with Genrift, me and a friend actually wasn't the guy who played Rohan in the movie. It was a completely different artist that I worked with called Kid Rohan. No, you're good. We came up with this concept for Genrift as kind of like this just huge like global tech company, and they really tried to focus on a more moral standpoint in their products, and we kind of made a whole narrative album 3 years ago based on that story. And I don't want to give the whole thing away, but these two are a little bit of delinquents, and they kind of get in some trouble along the way, and they eventually get fired, and then shenanigans ensue from there, and that's all contained on Genrift the album, which if you want to, you can listen to on all streaming platforms, of course. But yeah, so I would kind of, if I was to kind of adapt that story, which is what I originally wanted to do, and then I was like, what if I can take the moment before and I can make that a story instead? I would kind of lengthen it out, and I would really try to hit all the beats with all the music that features throughout the album to try to get the full effect with the songs as well. Like the first single and the intro of the album was the song in the credits in the movie. So that was kind of like picking up right after they walk into the store. So that's kind of how it would start, right?
Awesome, thank you very much. And obviously my second question for you was where can we stream the album, but there you go. You know where to find it. All right. For Hal, you directed the Sunset Hunter, right?
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
So I have to ask first, because I'm also a musician. So how did the initial inception of this music video come about? Did Audrey approach you with the idea of making a music video, or vice versa? Did it just kind of happen organically? Give us a little insight about that.
Yeah, sure. Audrey is actually sitting right there. And
then, great. Hello, Audrey. I don't know where you are, but
and then we are in a band together. She's the keyboardist and I play the guitar. And then there's one day I said like, I'm a film major, so I can make any one of you guys like a music video or something. And she said, I got this music I created, composed in 2023 or 2022. Was that right? 22, okay. She composed in 2022, and then I said, okay, let's just make a music video about that. And we went to, there's a small town called Beacon during the spring break. So we basically made that film within like 2 days, and then there's like some additional shots on the rooftop of her house. Yeah, it went like pretty good.
Nice. And another question I have for you is, because I'm also a nature lover, I come from Gloucester, Rhode Island, which is a rural town. How did this song resonate you from a story song perspective? Because there's a very clear line here about someone who's yearning for nature and then they get lost in time. Did all that inspiration for where to go and where to shoot come from dissecting the song itself, or was there sort of some sort of creative impulse you had personally?
Yeah, sure. It's a very good question, because we actually did a lot of thinking on the storytelling wise of this music video. The place Beacon is actually found by Audrey herself. That's a place where she has been like twice, like in New York. And then she said, okay, I got this place where it's like really beautiful. We got the Hudson River by it, and then we could probably shoot there, because the story I want to tell is kind of like someone who is disappointed or just frustrated by the New York, the fast city life, and she just want to escape to the nature to like find her true self, something like that. And then she proposed this idea of like this beacon town we can go to. So we just choose this as our location. We like to really good.
All right, thank you very much. My next question is for Zian. So this is the first episode of a series called Lionheart, and it's about, obviously, Lisa, who's an international student. When it comes to treating this film like a musical, because this is the only film out of the 4 that had songs embedded into the characters and the live bodies on screen, with an ensemble and a clear-cut and kind of the tropey, like clear-cut vision of who these characters are and what their roles are in given scenarios. Kind of like a Mean Girls meets High School Musical, but it has its own unique identity, which I love a lot. So my question for you is, when all is said and done, how did the inclusion of songs and parts where characters are singing on screen and music is flooded in the space, anatomically, how does that affect the kind of, I guess, the natural, like, when you're making a film and you have to hit certain plot points? How did that element of song and knowing that you have to include that help you keep the story chugging along in a great way?
Yeah, so definitely all the music, all the songs we have, they has to have like the narrative side of it. And at the very beginning, we come out this like storyline, very general, and we wrote the song first and then the script. I feel like that's the biggest difference, how we made this than like the other like films.
Great. And also, personally, I was inclined to watch I didn't get to watch the whole thing, but I watched the second episode, and I was really captivated by it. And I won't spoil anything or anything like that. But what was the inclination to make this a series versus a feature length?
Ooh. So this is okay. Because this is a project I did when I was in my high school, and it's actually a zero budget project. So it's almost impossible to make it a feature length because we just don't have that money and time.
Fair.
And it's a project that we made outside of class, so we thought that if it's an episode, it will be easier to make because we don't have to make all of them at the same time. So we actually made it like over the 2 years, and just a little by little, whenever like the crew had time. So you find the continuity is a little bit off, but it's just a very
Yeah, absolutely. Was this like around like senior year in like the craze of like the senior year stuff, or for you?
For me, it's my junior and senior year.
Oh, okay. Because I imagine if it was like right at the tail end of senior year, it would have been like, oh yeah, we have this and also like everything else going on at once, right? All right, thank you very much. For Callie and Cask of the Amontillado. That's not how you say it, but that's how I'm saying it today. So this was a musical interpretation of Edgar Allan Poe's Cask of the Amontillado. Can I ask you to words? Wow. Can I ask you to briefly? Wow, I'm so sorry, everybody. Briefly summarize the story for us.
Yeah. Okay. So the Cask of Amontillado is about, I forget the exact time period, so forgive me, way earlier. So this guy, the guy I play, Montresor, I'm definitely mispronouncing that. He's talking to his friend and he's like, yo, I know you like wine. I got this nice bottle of Amontillado in my cellar. Why don't you come down there? Nothing could be wrong. And his friend Fortunato is like, sure, man, yeah, I'll come down to the cellar. I want this nice wine. And so he goes down to the cellar to get the wine, and he's drunk, like he drinks all the wine. And Montresor like lays bricks, and so he like bricks the guy, trapping him in these catacombs. And it's one of the early unreliable narrator stories. Yeah, it's like a fun little spooky time.
Poe really had a thing for burying people alive. Do you notice that?
Yeah, I know. What's up with that?
What's wrong with that guy?
What's up with that? Wait a minute.
because I read like the Black Cat and Telltale Heart. I'm like, everybody's getting buried alive.
I'm like, this is a pattern. This is a trend. Something's up here. Somebody should look into that.
Yeah, do it. What do they call it? An autopsy? I don't know. So, okay. How did your analysis of the character, Montresor? Is that how you say it?
It's a tricky name. I really don't know, I'll be honest.
Montresor. Okay. So how did your analysis of that character inspire? Because this is very like this is just straight music.
Yeah.
This is basically a music video, but like it's like a horror film at the same time. So. What was it? What inspired that? What inspired some of the changes you made there? That choices. Sorry, Chase. Matt. Yeah.
I love the story. So like, I kind of wanted to readapt it to the lens of like a relationship. I think when you read Cask of Amontillado, it's these people with immense money and power. Because like these are like Fortunato is somebody who knows fine wine, so he knows Amontillado is this good stuff. People with money, people with power. And so like exploring a relationship dynamic where, one person has more power over the other, and like unsteadiness, like having Montresor, I still probably butchered that, I'm sorry, be kind of an unreliable narrator in this relationship. I mean, I don't think any relationship really has a reliable narrator, but especially this one because it gets pretty dark. But yeah, I think reinterpreting it as a relationship was very interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And for you, Kayla?
Yes.
Kayla, because of how varied and intentional the shots were, and there was some very interesting shot work done on this film. Can you give us some insight on how, because Callie made the music,
Yes.
and by the way, super trippy, love it. But can you give us some insight, like once Callie, made that whole song, made that whole sequence, how it inspired some of those choices?
Yeah, sure. So I think what was really interesting and fun about doing the cinematography on this was it was a very collaborative process. A lot of the shots really came from us talking and figuring out, okay, where is this character at in this moment, and what can we do, not only in terms of like composition, like where they are within the frame, but also how steady do we want it, what is the lighting in this, and like getting things in multiple colors of lights, that way in editing you could play with that. Yeah, it really just came out of a lot of conversations, honestly.
Awesome, great. I have one more question, and this is for each of the panelists, and we're going to go down the line here. Because this is a music film festival, and we're obviously, we're emphasizing trying to fill the gap between mediums and having mediums work together. What tips or advice or, experience iotas would you give creatives trying to combine mediums or take their medium to, medium to people of other mediums and arts and work with collaborators in different fields? That was a lot to say a little, but a general sense of the question. Okay, we're gonna go down the line here, so.
What's over here?
Yeah, so I think the main piece of advice that I would give to that question is just to create stories. There's so much that you can say with any medium that you want to say, that you want to use to say it, and I feel like as you just create narratives and create stories and just create stuff that is meaningful to you, that says something. You can use resources and different people, different creatives, different visions that you have to kind of bring those stories to a different forefront and create this kind of unique multimedia art. And that all starts from just creating a story.
I would say make friends who do art from different fields. And if you have an idea, just go for it. Do not hesitate. And do not worry about the budget, because we made a TV show with like no budget. Yeah.
I would say think about, because every single medium sort of has its strengths and what it's able to communicate. So for me, when I'm combining mediums, I like to think of, okay, what can I do within this genre and how can that best portray what I'm trying to communicate? And then taking that into consideration for each of the mediums you're using. So that way in that combination, you know, you're pulling together the strongest sort of combination of these different genres that all do amazingly varied things.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna add on to your point about genre and talk like subverting genre is important too. And I think I'm gonna echo a similar sentiment, like you said, that truly with anything in life, just doing the thing, you will get good at doing the thing. Like, and I think especially in making multiple disciplinary art, your collaborators are very important. It's very important to be gracious with who you work with, to listen to who you work with people who are better at you than doing things. You will learn from them, you will grow from them. Acknowledge that, acknowledge, and it's great to work with people you admire with, learn from them, and in turn, yeah, it's a beautiful process collaborating, embrace it.
So I would say to really feel the musics, or the piece from another whole different things we're working on, because we're working on like the visual things, but like music, I feel like there's definitely more like feelings that is required to like you to really understand what the composer is trying to say. Because like after Audrey sent me the music, and I heard it for like 10 or more times to like really get what like the emotions behind that kind of that music. So like my point is just to really feel the music, to figure out what the author is trying to, the composer is trying to say, and then combine your own thoughts and like the author's stuff somehow together.
How long does the process of editing like a music video usually take? And like what do you have to get, like, were you the only one editing it, or did you have like a team? You were the only one?
Yeah.
Oh. How long does like that whole process take to like make it? Like I mean, you said 2 days to film it, but how about like the editing and like putting the music over it?
It's about like 1 day for like a rough cut, 1 day for like refined cut, another day for like coloring.
Wow, that's so cool.
It's like 5 minutes. So, but like if you need like more things, you want like, you can also be better. Like it can always be better. Like you can work on like for like 1 month or 2 months on that. But like since like I shot that, and then Anika like sent me this poster of this event, so like, oh, I gotta work on this real thing. So I just like did things real quick. So yeah.
Okay. Sorry, that was a boring question.
Thank you for asking.
All right, thank you for your insight, guys. Can we give one more great, big, warm hand to these amazing panelists that we have here?